Hello everyone, my name is Abay Rahmatulayev and I would like to speak about change leadership communication style, and I will try to explain in this video what does it mean and hope it will be useful. This video lecture will be based on knowledge I gained from organizing and leading change course. Organizing change is a necessary part of any company or organization, and the role of communication is very important in leading change. It is impossible to make changes at any level without a properly structured communication. It's hard to be overly sociable when you lead your organization on the path of change. Every successful manager who happens to lead the changes agree with such a statement. Many factors such as globalization, technological advances, deregulation, privatization, mergers or acquisitions coupled with the movement of labor-intensive projects to less expensive locations and changing customer demands are forcing organizations to constantly review their purpose and raising data. This evaluate process will help them to decide which changes, strategic or operational, will have to be made in order to survive and grow. With regard to international communication, Kitchen highlights that organizations require different approaches to their employee communication, which reflect such factors as the type of business, size, organizational culture, managerial style, financial resources, staff and stability or volatility of the business environment. In the context of change, Harshman pointed out that communication within the organization is a key factor in influencing how well the organization performs. In fact, high on the diagnostic checklist of corporate health is communication. Communication reasons organizations don't change. The first one is insufficient communication. When organization members communicate during intense change, they will generate organizing sense about uncertainty or a lack of information about specific changes. Uncertainty is an inability to describe, predict, or explain, and complaints of inadequate information are common in organizations. Organizations fail to change when many people believe that they are not getting enough information about the changes. It may be impossible to meet everyone's information needs. However, the need to know more is less disruptive when there are many opportunities for everyone to make sense of the changes. Without the entire organization participating in conversations about change, transformational change will not occur. Second one is local identification. When organizational members communicate during periods of intense change, they will generate organizing sense about identification. Self-concept is an organized set of perceptions one has about oneself. An aspect of self-concept is self-identity, and the organization of various self-perceptions associated with organizational roles constitutes one's organizational identity. Third one is global distrust. During periods of intense change, organizational members will communicate about trust. Trust is an expectation, assumption, or belief of positive or non-negative outcomes that one can receive from another person's future actions during uncertainty. Uncertainty implies vulnerability, and most contemporary definitions of trust include some belief in the positive intentions, behavior, or outcomes of another. Distrust is characterized by fear, skepticism, cynicism, and wariness. Mistrust, undefined in the literature, would be an inability to predict the value of engaging with another. The next one is lack of productive humor. Humorous communication increases during intense organizational change. Humor is a form of communication that promotes laughter from discordant meanings or relationships, and humor can be a norm and value as a part of the culture. Humor can be productive in the workplace by bringing social actors closer together, reducing stress, managing paradox, and building cohesiveness, but it can also be negative by being self-defeating, derisive, or part of anger. Organizational members can encourage or discourage change by how they use humor. The next one is poor interpersonal communication skills. The level of interpersonal communication skill will affect the direction of organizational change. Communication competence is an ability to accomplish goals with appropriate communication. 7 communication reasons. Appropriateness refers to meeting the normative expectations of others in the social situation, as well as using those behaviors most appropriate for the task at hand. Competence requires the performance of various communication skills and the perception of others that the performance was appropriate. One is conflict avoidance. Intense change is a turbulent time, and the likelihood for conflict increases. Conflict is an expressed struggle over perceived differences. Individuals manage conflict in one of three general ways. Avoidance means never having to confront differences directly. Competitive tactics involve direct confrontations but may vary from argument about positions and ideas to bid and counter offers to verbal aggression and even violence. Integrative communication involves creating common goals, offering to help each other achieve individual goals, brainstorming to develop action plans, and creating common systems of accountability. People perceive integrative conflict communication as a competent, competitive or controlling strategies as effective but inappropriate, and avoidance strategies as least competent. The last one is an inappropriate mix of loose and tight coupling. Getting to a bifurcation point capable of producing transformational change involves an accumulation of differences in the natural loose coupling of current behaviors, but when the system moves to a transformed state, it exhibits tighter coupling and the emergence of order from disorder. The development of some hierarchy of activity is common when systems emerge from transformational phase transitions, such as the bifurcation points far from equilibrium. Breton and Gold outline what they see as imperatives for successful organizational communication in today's business world. They stress that communicating is fundamental to the process of organizing, and understanding organizational communication provides insights into management strategies. Effective leadership skills encompass communication skills. A combination of written and face-to-face channels is best. Messages should be perceived to be relevant to employees. The communication system should be monitored and evaluated. All these statements show how internal communication influences organizational change and development. Few enterprises are immune to change. Understanding the need for change is important, but so is an understanding of how change will be achieved. If internal communication is a key issue with regard to how successful change management programs are implemented, then understanding that link could prove crucial for all enterprises as they adjust not only to new circumstances at home, but also to the fierce inroads of aggressive international business. Some information about communication management. Communication is one component of business culture and an important element in the making and implementation of decisions. Internal communication. Empirical research shows that whilst the upward information flow functions relatively well, the downward flow works very differently. The various management levels slow down the communication process. In consequence, informal channels of communication assume a special degree of importance. The regular exchange of professional ideas is not practiced. Group consultations, brainstorming sessions, ideas exchanges such as the quality circle are not widespread. External communication. Basic changes are evident in the external communication of companies. The presence of foreign firms has acted as a stimulus in this respect. Increasing competition demands a higher level of PR work and much more intensive marketing. Perhaps the most striking area is that of nonverbal communication. The public image of banks, insurance companies, and many other service providers has altered dramatically. Building facades, interior design, and fitting are changing to reflect qualities such as security, stability, and reliability. An important element in external communication is the way in which companies obtain information from the specific environment, from the market, from business partners, from the authorities, etc. Surveys have shown that such channels as exist cannot keep pace with developments. In contrast to the situation in neighboring countries, chambers of commerce, trade fairs, and the like play a minor role, and very few companies yet communicate via the latest communications channels such as the internet. That's my model of communication style. As you can see, it consists of 4 elements. The first one is information exchange. For example, the message about coming events or meetings. The third one is maintaining relations. It means to always meet, have breakfast together. For example, communications not only in the job. Gaining trust. To gain trust is very difficult, but if gained the trust within the organization, It will develop the company and relations among employees. Fourth element is creating informal dialogues. That's my model of communication style. As you can see, it consists of four elements. The first one is information exchange. For example, the message about coming events or meetings. The third one is maintaining relations. It means to always meet, have breakfast together. For example, communications not only in the job. Gaining trust. To gain trust is very difficult, but if gained the trust within the organization, it will develop the company and relations among employees. Fourth element is creating informal dialogues. And I would like to give some recommendations. The first one is communicate consistently and often use a variety of channels, including verbal and written communications, videos, workshops, focus groups, committees, and other intranet. Broadcast all that is known about the changes as soon as the information allows. Make it clear that you are aiming for the fastest communication so that a number of details may change later. Let people know that the other alternative is to keep all the information until clarity about the outcome, and it's a disaster for the effective management communications. Clear bring to the audience the vision, missions, and goals of change management. Help people to understand how these changes will affect them personally. And back up a significant amount of time for questions from the audience for the clarifications and explanations and reacts to them. If you have ever been in situations where the leading preparing changes presented in the form of slides for a large group of people and then disappeared in an unknown direction, then you know how bad it is to implement the changes. In these two slides you can see my list of references. Thank you for attention. I hope my information and lecture will be useful for a lot of people.